launched my new concept. It's called It's All About the Music. I noticed the real connection is what happens live, whether it's in the club, at a festival, but it's really happening there. You know, when you play the music, it resonates. And I realized like how much I missed that, but also realized how important it is for the music we make. So for me, it was really simple. Like, it's all about the music. Let's take it back to the essential part of what we do, and that's connecting, you know, between the crowd and the DJ and the music, and that's energy. And when I started with music in the beginning, I was just amazed by, to be honest, like the fact that you can produce something in the studio with a sequencer, with a simple software program. And I bought synths, you know, and the whole idea that I could build my own spaceship and create something, and I could play it, maybe even for 10 people, 20 people, 50 people. And later on it became like more, but just understanding like I can create something and I want to show it to other people, and then it actually does something, you know. That was for me fascinating. And then suddenly, you know, a few years later, I still remember that moment. I entered the arena, you know, in Amsterdam, this big soccer stadium, and I saw like 40,000 people. And then in the middle of the stadium was this DJ booth, and then the first track dropped, and I could feel the energy just going through the arena, you know. I could feel the energy of 40,000 people, and I was like, this is something I want to do. I want to play there. I want to be the guy in the middle. That's really what got me in the beginning of dance music, and still I find it the most important thing, like creating out of, you know, you can wake up in the middle of the night, you have an idea, or just randomly when you walk in the airport or just in the forest, doesn't matter. You have a simple idea and that can grow to something like big, or maybe not. That's the cool thing. You don't control that, but it's a creative process, and that's actually what I started to love about my job, because in the beginning I was just, I was really shy, you know, in the studio and being the nerd and playing on my synths, just fooling around, and I had no idea that this could be a living. I had no idea that I would fly and meet people all around the world, and there's so much more behind it these days. But it all starts with that simple thing, like a creative idea in the studio, bam, and then finding that connection, that spark, you know, what creates that connection between you and the listener. And yeah, I still love it, you know. I'm still not done. I think I'm just getting started. I was a big fan, you know, of the whole the Thijs Tiesto era with Black Hole, the old Ferry Corsten stuff, old Kate Tressler stuff, and real trance fans know, like, that was like more hard trance, the German kind of genre. And I always loved when it had like some more energetic drops, but also the big melodies like Ferry Corsten, Out of the Blue, Gorilla, all yeah, that was to me like an era. That's what I want to make. So I decided I want to make trance. I sent all my tracks to a lot of record companies, and they always said, like, you know, it's already done. This particular sound, it was this sound with the GP8000, particular trance sound, and later on I distorted the kicks a little bit because I was actually a little bit frustrated. and it became this distorted kick, just like the hardcore era, but then slower and more polished. And over time, in the beginning, it was really simple. And it's funny right now, because if you listen to the new techno that's being played the last year now, the kick and bass techno, that's what I used to make in my beginning years. So it was really simplistic, you know, like long tracks, like 7, 8, 9 minutes. And I say long tracks because these days, you know, it's 3 minutes and the whole thing it's a full story already, and then you mix already to the next one. But over time, I found out, like, you know, the combination of vocals working with singer-songwriters, that became, I think, my signature sound. So it was an uplifting sound, 150 BPM, mostly, or a little bit faster, energetic drops. And I think I always try to find that certain hook. That's what works for me on the dance floor as well. Something that people could relate to, or something, sometimes I go for really kind of accessible hook with a really cool drop. Yeah, and I tried so many things. I worked, for example, with Jonathan Mendelsohn, who was big in the trance. We did a song called Imaginary. Did a lot for both of us. Other tracks like Lose My Mind were really created just for the dance floor. I made that one with Wild Styles and a good friend, Max P. Yeah, it's always, I think the vocal tracks became really big, but it's the combination of, I think the lyrics and the uplifting drops. Yeah, that's what really became my signature sound, I believe. Yeah, I'm actually getting old already, because I started back in the days with a lot of synthesizers, a lot of hardware, and just a simple computer. And these days you have so many software programs to just produce your music, which is actually a whole new world. Because it means with a simple laptop and a simple piece of software, I don't call it simple, but you can already make a full track, and it sounds really decent, you know. And the level it's a high level these days if you want to start at a certain point. So I would always say, like, try to find your own unique sound, make what you love, you know. Maybe people get inspired by techno or hardstyle or whatever genre you like, but just make sure you produce something over time that's your own sound, and try to be innovative with, you know, sometimes a certain drop or some combinations in sounds or whatever to create something new. And the most difficult part is to be original and create traction or create a momentum for yourself. And that's really complicated, because it all sounds so easy, you know. You go to the studio, make some beats, and then you go on stage as a DJ and then you perform. Because these days, it's the full package. Being on stage, being producer, or the other way around, doesn't matter how you start. But the most important thing is be unique. And I think when you do what you love, eventually within, you know, 3 to 5 years, or even 5 to 10 years, that's how long it takes, in my opinion, to really get to your own style. And I enjoy it, you know. Enjoy making music. When it gets like a point of frustration, I think you lose the connection with it. So the most important part for me is always like, do what you love and try to stay close to what you love. I think that's the most important part.